This is my review of Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Okay, I better stop singing the Star Wars theme song, but man, I saw this movie 3 times. 3 times. And you know what? I think third time's the charm. I think that's pretty much it, right? And the third and final time I saw it was in IMAX, and very well worth, much like seeing the Hateful Eight in 70mm, though that was a bit different because, you know, 70mm also had 20 extra minutes of story and stuff. But with Star Wars, you know, it's very well worth it to see it in IMAX, okay? Yes, it's a bit pricey, arm and a leg, much like the popcorn and soda these days too, but seeing Star Wars, this is probably like my favorite movie of 2015, okay? And sorry, spoiler alert, by the way, since I'm talking about Star Wars, please don't freeze me in carbonite, or throw me in a Rancor pit, or throw me in a Sarlacc pit. Though if I go into a Sarlacc pit, I might find Boba Fett. But anyway, okay, if you're watching this video, stop watching this video if you haven't seen the movie yet, okay? If you keep watching it and you haven't seen the movie, you only have yourself to blame. You can't blame me. I did tell you spoiler alert, so you can't blame me. They can't blame me, right, Dave?
That's right.
They can't blame me. So please, stop watching this video if you haven't seen the movie yet. If you're still watching this video and you still haven't seen the movie, you only have yourself to blame. But for those who've seen the movie, let me talk about Star Wars, okay? I love Star Wars I love Star Wars for a long time. My love for it did get stagnant after a while. I mean, okay, I'll say this about the prequels. They're not all that bad. They're just very poorly written. And some of the acting could have been better, but it was... Hayden Christensen, he's not all that bad, okay? I think he did get a bad rap for it. Some of it deservedly, but he didn't deserve all of it. He was pretty okay as Anakin Skywalker. I mean, he had to make do with what he could, all right? You try to make do with what George Lucas did for the prequels. So when I first heard that Disney was going to be doing Star Wars, I was skeptical because some franchises that Disney acquired, they ran to the ground. But they were doing okay with Marvel, so I thought maybe they could apply what they did with Marvel with Star Wars. And you know what? So far it works. Not too certain about the expanded universe stuff, but that's something else. But yeah, Star Wars, I'm only going to talk about this movie here. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I'm not calling it Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'm calling it Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Alright? So yeah, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Alright, let me get out the big one here. Yes, this movie does retread on A New Hope. Oh, Dave, spoiler alert, by the way. I know you haven't seen the movie yet, right?
That's right.
Okay, well, yeah. Yes, big spoiler. The Force Awakens does retread on A New Hope, okay? It does do a lot of things similar to New Hope, you know, the Empire and Republic and Empire, First Order and the Resistance are at war with each other. There's a giant ball of death that destroys planets. There's a dark Lord of the Sith. There's a uppity Imperial guy. Yeah, and Han Solo. He's not exactly like what Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi was in A New Hope, but there are parallels there. So, yeah, the movie has, you know, you got all the new characters. You got Finn, played by John Boyega. Rey, played by the fantastic Daisy Ridley. I mean, Rey, probably the best character in this movie, though I also like Finn too, okay? Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, who is just like, again, like he's like the Han Solo for the new generation. And Kylo Ren, who, yeah, Kylo Ren, probably one of the biggest villains here in this movie. And yes, there's a couple other new characters here. Oh, and BB-8! Oh, BB-8! BB-8 is so cute! I want to get a BB-8 toy and, you know, remote control and just have him run around, or I hope they create real-life astromech droids, and, you know, BB-8 would be the first one. I would just get BB-8 because BB-8 is so adorable. Okay, sorry, I'm getting off track here, but this movie is just so friggin' amazing. Oh man, I haven't felt this great after seeing a movie in a while. I mean, there have been a bunch of good movies in 2015, but Star Wars does it for me, okay? Star Wars does it for me this year because, I don't know, it's like, yes, Star Wars had been kind of meh for a while, but Force Awakens just, well, reawakens it, you know? It's, oh man. Again, yeah, and yeah, sure, if it's a retread on A New Hope, but it feels like a good retread. All these people that come together to make this movie, they know what made Star Wars great for them, and they show that here. They show that. The new characters are great and believable and lovable. I mean, some of it does feel a bit rushed. I mean, like Finn suddenly deciding to leave the First Order and everything. It does feel a bit rushed, but you know, it feels good in a kind of way because, you know, Star Wars, this Force Awakens, it brings back that swashbuckling grand adventure feel that the prequels kind of lacked, you know? And expect a lot of prequel comparisons, contrasts, what have yous. I'll try not to make too much, but so yeah, you know, you got Finn, the stormtrooper, and Poe. They escape from the First Order. Finn helps Poe escape from the First Order. They're trying to find Luke Skywalker, and then they crash land back on the planet that the First Order attacked, Jakku, where we see Rey, possibly one of the greatest female characters in all of science fiction. Sorry, Furiosa. I mean, you and Rey will have to duke it out at some point. But yeah, Rey is just adorable and so awesome. She's a scavenger. She tries to make by with what she can do, and she hopes to encounter her family again, but then she gets caught up in circumstances beyond her comprehension, and you know, when she encounters Finn, they go off on this grand adventure to help the Resistance and find Luke Skywalker, who's been missing for 30 years? Or, well, maybe he hasn't been missing for 30 years. It never says how long he's been missing. The way that the movie treats Luke Skywalker, most of the movie, it's like he's a myth. But how long has he been missing for? I mean, if this movie takes place 30 years after Jedi, then how long has Luke been missing for? I mean, he tried to establish a new Jedi Order, and Kylo Ren, who is really Han and Leia's son, Ben Solo. Spoiler alert. He turned to the dark side because of this one other guy, Snoke, who's trying to be like this new Emperor Palpatine equivalent, but not exactly. It's just basically another Andy Serkis mocap role. Done well, I'll admit, but yeah, not much revealed about Snoke. There's some fan theories that he might be Darth Plagueis because, you know, they play a similar theme that was used when Palpatine talked about Darth Plagueis back in Revenge of the Sith, but that's beside the point here. Kylo Ren turns... And it's amazing how you see Kylo Ren struggle between light and dark. It's not quite like Anakin because, see, Kylo Ren really idolizes his grandfather, Darth Vader. And I mean Darth Vader, not Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. He even has Darth Vader's burnt up mask. Where did he get that? How did he get Darth Vader's burnt up mask? I mean, did he just dig it up with his cross-guard lightsaber and everything? Oh, by the way, the cross-guard lightsaber, not a bad design, I'll admit. It's actually pretty nifty how he uses it. But yeah, how did he get the Darth Vader mask? I will never know. And yes, Rey and Finn, they fly in the Millennium Falcon. They encounter Han Solo and Chewbacca. And Harrison Ford is awesome as Han Solo again. You know, he's still the same old gruffy nerf herder Han that we all know and love. But he's also, you know, he's also kind of old and stuff, so it's kind of funny to see him be like this. And Chewie, the bromance between Han and Chewie is just awesome, and the back and forth. Yes, I know. Chewie goes, and Han goes, yeah, I know. You know, Han is kind of rinse and repeat here, but it just feels good to see that again. And you know how they go from place to place, and how these characters, they just keep journeying, going forward. You know, yes, it's a lot like New Hope, but it's kind of different too. It's amazing, all the twists and turns. It's even self-aware at sometimes. You know, sometimes it's like self-aware in and of itself. How it's like being in homage to A New Hope. You know. So yeah, they get to Maz Kanata's cantina, because it's a Star Wars movie. It wouldn't be a Star Wars movie if it didn't have a cantina. And you know, they find Luke and Anakin's lightsaber. How did they find the lightsaber if it was like floating around in Bespin or something? Who knows? Apparently that might get answered in a later movie. But yeah, Rey touches it, has a hallucination, and yeah, this is like the first time in a Star Wars movie we have a hallucination here. Not just something where like they hear voices, but they have a hallucination. Yeah, a hallucination, flashback. There was even a flashback. How many Star Wars movies can you think of that have flashbacks? Nothing. I mean, unless you count the Clone Wars shows and everything. But yeah, this is the first time ever in a Star Wars movie we are seeing a flashback. And Rey is strong in the Force. Obviously, since she's able to fly really well, she knows how some certain things work and everything. She's strong in the Force. And Finn, well, he's not the one strong in the Force, but he is like, he's trying to be the best guy he can be. Yes, the whole him trying to escape the First Order, not trying to get involved in the fight, I can understand him being like that. But once when he sees that his friends are in danger, this case being Rey, she's getting kidnapped by the First Order, he's like, okay, that's it. I'm not gonna stand idly by. I am going to fight. And so he gets the Resistance and the Republic, and I think the Republic gets destroyed by the First Order's weapon, Star Killer Base. Oh, Star Killer, because that was gonna be Anakin. That was gonna be Luke Skywalker's original name in George Lucas's rough draft. Oh, and Star Killer, also the nickname of Galen Marek in the Force Unleashed video game that Disney sort of renders iffy canon, as well as KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. I'm not buying what Disney deems canon, not canon for Star Wars anymore, okay? Whatever I like, whatever Star Wars thing that I like, if I enjoy it, that's canon enough for me. Except for the holiday special. No one enjoys that. Thankfully, Disney doesn't too. But anyway, and Kylo Ren, he tries to interrogate Rey, but Rey is somehow strong in the Force. And Kylo Ren, you know, when he takes off his mask, he's actually pretty decent looking. And in fact, he kind of looks a lot like his grandfather, just with Jon Snowish hair. You know, it's all black and everything. And you know, it's amazing because you can really see how he's struggling between light and dark here. Because see, when other characters who were seduced by the dark side, you could tell that the dark side was really taking a toll on him. I mean, I think the dark side is sort of like a metaphor for drug use and stuff like that. And here you see that he's okay. The dark side is not really taking that much of a toll on him. So yeah, the Resistance is. And you know what? I now understand the difference between the Republic and the Resistance. Think of it like this. The Republic is kind of like the U.S. government, right? It's the established government. And the First Order is like, insert modern enemy here. You know what I mean? And the Resistance is formed by various other people that the Republic is supporting. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, the Republic kind of gets destroyed, I guess, by Star Killer Base. Oh yeah, Star Killer Base can destroy entire systems instead of planets. So, as a one-up on the Death Star, that Star Killer Base is made out of an entire planet. So, Finn gets the Resistance to go to Star Killer Base. Oh, yeah, he also apprehends Captain Phasma. Yeah, Captain Phasma, I don't exactly understand the hype surrounding her. I mean, because she's dressed in chrome and everything. Her armor is made from the Emperor's old ships or something. I mean, and also she's played by Gwendolyn Christie. Yeah, I don't exactly understand what the hype was surrounding Captain Phasma. I mean, she's even in the freaking poster, but I guess they're going to build her up in the sequels. But seriously, though, if they were trying to go with a Boba Fett feel, that's what they were clearly trying to go for. This mysterious character in cool-looking armor and everything. She's supposed to be like this Boba Fett-ish type character. Yeah, at least Boba Fett did a bit more. He did a bit more. He actually did stuff in the other movies. I mean, sure, yes, in the Episode 4 Special Edition, you just see him there as a wink to the audience. In Episode 5, he, points his gun and stuff, and he stands around, being all cool and mysterious. And then in Episode 6, he actually does some stuff. He fires around, flies on his jetpack, and then, of course, falls into the Sarlacc pit. But yeah, he survives, and he's going to get his own movie. So, but yeah, Captain Phasma doesn't really do much other than talk and maybe shoot a bit, I guess. I don't even know if she did shoot. If Captain Phasma did do anything other than talk and walk around, please let me know, okay? So yeah, they apprehend her, they get her to shut the shields down, the Resistance flies in. Oh, and yeah, Rey, again, she's strong in the Force, and she tricks a Stormtrooper who may or may not be a certain secret super spy who recently had a movie this year, the same year as this movie. Wink, wink. Okay, in case you don't get that, she tricks Daniel Craig, James Bond, into letting her go with her Force. Yeah, she suddenly has Force powers now. But then again, yeah, the movie was kind of building up that she had Force powers, but she's really strong in the Force here. So the Resistance attacks. Chewie and Han, everyone sets up bombs around Starkiller Base to just get it weakened and everything. And then, of course, we get for the obvious setup here. The movie was kind of building up that something bad was going to happen to one of the main characters. In this case, it's Han. So yeah, spoiler alert, Han Solo dies, okay? But see, the way it's done here, it's not like how it did with Obi-Wan in A New Hope. It did seem kind of obvious that he was going to die, but see, the way that they did Obi-Wan's death in A New Hope was that Obi-Wan just encounters Darth Vader. Darth Vader sensed that Obi-Wan was there, and Darth Vader was hunting Obi-Wan down, and Obi-Wan was fighting Vader. It didn't seem certain whether he was going to kill him or just simply defend himself and try to hold him off or something. But here, in this case, Han was trying to reach out to his son. He was trying to reach out to his son. Han probably figured that he was either going to die or Han figured that he was probably going to die, and if he didn't, it would be a miracle. But he had to try to reach his son, simply because Leia asked him to. Thanks a lot, Leia. But, Leia is the leader, so she's got a lot on her shoulders and everything, and she wants her son back, and so does Han. But, yeah, Han tries to reach his son, and his son is like, I need your help. I'm being torn apart. Will you please help me? And Han says, yeah, sure. But see, the interesting twist was Kylo wasn't asking Han to save him. Ben Solo was asking Han to help him kill him. Yeah. And Han falls down in the pit and everything. Han falls down in a chasm and everything. And it's just, wow. That moment, the build-up and everything, and that precise moment when it happens is just so friggin' emotional. I almost cried. Yeah. Say what you will about me being too over-emotional for that, but yeah, that made me cry. And Starkiller Base is suddenly about to be destroyed, and Finn and Rey have to get out of there. They have to get back to the Millennium Falcon, meet up with Chewie and everything. But Kylo Ren stops him. Oh, and Chewbacca shoots a crossbow bolt at Kylo as soon as he killed Han. But Kylo just takes it like a champ, And, Kylo uses the Force to knock Rey out. And Finn gets out Anakin's lightsaber and tries to fight Kylo off. And it's a pretty damn good fight. But and for those who wonder why wouldn't Kylo just simply use the Force? Well, Kylo is using almost all of his Force power simply to keep his wound in check, okay? So he's doing all he can. So the reason why the fight went the way it did was because, again, Kylo was trying to keep his wound in check. And Finn manages to score a few good hits. I mean, the fight was pretty good, but but it was kind of short. But it was kind of short-lived because Kylo obviously kicks Finn's ass. But again, Finn manages to land a few good hits. So I like to think that that's how it went for me. And then of course Rey uses her force powers to get the lightsaber and fights Kylo off, and it's a pretty damn epic fight as you're seeing Starkiller Base just fall apart all around them, and then Rey is able to utilize her force abilities to beat Kylo and everything. Doesn't quite kill him, and then there's like a big earthquake chasm happen, and they're separated, so Rey isn't able to finish Kylo off, and Snoke tells General Hux to find Kylo somehow before the planet explodes, and Rey and Finn get out of there, and then Finn's still alive, of course, and the Resistance celebrates that they beat the First Order, they destroyed Starkiller Base, and then and then the map to Luke Skywalker is finally completed. And so Rey goes to the planet that Luke is hiding on, where he's just been standing around like this. And then when Rey finds him, he's like... And, they have that moment between each other. They're just staring each other in the eyes, and Rey just presents Luke his father's lightsaber, and Luke just has that look like, oh boy. He doesn't, and oh yeah, Mark Hamill, he's there. Mark Hamill is Luke again, but he doesn't say a freaking thing. He doesn't say a word. And that's it. That's how the movie ends. It just ends with Rey simply handing out the lightsaber to Luke, and they're not exactly close. So does Luke grab the lightsaber? What? Who knows? But this movie was just awesome for me. It was awesome. It was my favorite of 2015. I'll admit, it was clunky. It got awkward. It wasn't the best well directed. It wasn't exactly the best well written. It was very well acted. I'll admit that. But the reason why The Force Awakens is so great for me, why I love it so much, is because, well, again, one, it reignited my love for Star Wars. Or gave it new strength, new affirmation. But see, 2015 was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag for a lot of people. You got all these mass shootings, all this violence, Donald Trump running for president and spewing whatever crap comes out of his mouth, ISIS, everything. There was a lot of bad shit. But see, the one thing that Star Wars was always about was hope. Even in some things, when things were at their worst, when things were at their darkest, there was always hope at the end. There was always hope. Even Revenge of the Sith, where the bad guys won, setting up for A New Hope, of course. But yeah, even Revenge of the Sith ended on a happy note. None of the Star Wars movies that I've seen have ever ended on a sour note. They've always had that sense of hope, that there was going to be something positive to look forward to. And that's what Star Wars did for me. It gave me a new sense, it reignited positivity within me. Sure, I'll still be negative, I'll still make snarks and stuff, but it was so enjoyable, so grand, so adventurous that I just couldn't help but just simply love it for what it was. Star Wars is back, okay? And yes, we're not only going to be getting episodes 8 and 9 coming up, but we're also going to be getting the anthology films, and I'm looking forward to those too. So, we have here is A New Hope. Not saying the title of the fourth movie, but you get what I mean. You get what I mean, right, Dave?
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And I hope it could be that way. Because, see, this movie came at a time when maybe everyone needed Star Wars. I hope that's what it was like for me, and I hope it can be the same way for a lot of people, regardless of whether you're into Star Wars or not. And if you're not into Star Wars, you didn't like it, that's fine. That's your opinion. So, yeah. Definitely see this movie. It is well worth it. You might get an awakening. But will you feel it? Anyway, I'm Phil. Thank you. You have a good day.